Welcome back. I'm Sam Haddon, and we are live at MarsCon 2020. I'm really excited for this interview. We get to sit down with Lee Arenberg, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of a fangirl, so this interview is going to be really jam-packed with all sorts of fun stuff. So he's been over 30 plus movies. He's been in Once Upon a Time as Grumpy, which is my favorite. And he's also been in Pirates of the Caribbean. He is a fantastic actor with quite the background, and I'm excited for you to get to know him a little bit more. Why acting? Obviously, you're obviously very good at what you do, but what made you get into it? Why was that your thing? How did you get into film and theater?
I wanted the attention. Yeah, I would think it was intention. I like the tension, you know. I think it's a pretty simple motivation, you know. When I was a young guy in school, 8 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, I liked the applause. I liked being good at something, you know, and I was kind of like, I think I just took to it, and once I got seduced by the applause of the audience, it was over for me. So I think the initial motivation to get in the business was, to hear the applause. Shallow as that sounds now, you know, I think maybe a lot of us still pursue it sometimes, you know.
Well, you went to school for this, correct?
I did, I studied, yeah.
And you did a lot while you were there. You got to know some amazing people. From the research I did, you knew Tim Robbins, you knew Robert Downey Jr., and you actually not only knew them, you did stuff. You actually made something called the Actor Gang.
Well, the Actors Gang is my theater company that I started when I was at UCLA with Tim. Jack Black came out of the group, Kyle Gass from Tenacious D.
Wow.
Used to be my roommate. So it's a long, you know, there is that, and we had a long history of, we were young actors at UCLA Theater Department, and when you study theater history, you realize that the goal of the theater artist through the history is to do the theater, is to make the art, and so that's what we did. We just went ahead and started doing shows outside of the college and the university. And from the very first show that we did, we were a big hit. And 7 years later, we're still doing it.
I was going to ask, is it still around? Could people
Absolutely.
see
it's in
it?
Los Angeles. It's an institution in Los Angeles.
Wow.
So we have a nice big theater now, and the company puts on a full season of shows every year. And I think, this is, 2020, so maybe 39 years the theater's been around. And Tim has always been the artistic director. From his early movie success, he always made art and helped us get our careers going. And I owe a lot of my career to Tim and to the Actors Gang. There's nothing like doing theater. I've always wanted to be a film and TV actor, just because I looked up to the actors in film and TV when I was young. And I love doing the theater. But with the Actors Gang, you're going to rehearse a show 6 months, 8 months, and then Hollywood calls. So inevitably I would be rehearsing a show, all working my butt off, and then get a movie. And I'm like, just for a lame movie, I'm gone, baby. Because at the end of the day, I have a family to feed, and that we have learned in the modern Hollywood that art is commerce.
Right.
And so lots of times I'm just like, anyway, I need to make a paycheck. So harder for me to do the theater now because of the rehearsal time and the way we would develop shows in the gang through improv.
Right.
And it was a fairly long, laborious process. And Tim wouldn't open a show, quote, if it wasn't ready. So that could be frustrating too at times.
I
but
can understand
I will say
that.
this, that Tim is an American genius, in my opinion, the movies that he's directed and the theater that he's directed and the performance of his own. So when you're working with someone who is that kind of talent on the scale of, I think, Orson Welles or some of the legends of storytelling, Tim's absolutely a legend.
Wow.
Of storytelling.
So you went into film, and film's what your goal was.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was your favorite character? Which one did you connect the best
all,
with?
It's like, what's your favorite kid? You know, you love them all for different reasons. I think, you know, the roles come to you for the right reasons at the right time.
Right.
But it would be hard for me to, I always say I pick a top 5 or so, but for sure Pirates and Once Upon a Time have been in the last sort of 20 years my primary work. I mean, I did 5 years I was in the pirate work, and 7 years playing Grumpy. So that took up a lot of your. Next thing you know, it's 20 years has passed. Yeah, we'll talk.
So tell us about what it was like to be on Pirates. Did you ever get to see what's his face, the big star?
What's his face?
Yeah.
Wow.
His name's Depp. Did you ever get to hang out with him?
I think I crossed his paths once in a while.
Yeah.
I mean, the great thing about Johnny, and the greatest thing about Johnny is his. I mean, for all his movie star, for all his ace, I used to call him Ace Face because he's a really good-looking dude. He's just got that classic profile. He's a righteous man. And
he's a rock star. I mean, he's got his band.
He is a rock star. Well, he came to Hollywood to be a rock star. I have a great Johnny story. In his early career, my buddy at the time was this when music videos were giant, and my friend of mine was one of the biggest music video directors, and he was directing this music video, and Johnny came in to audition for it, and my buddy didn't cast him because he's too good looking. And then, of course, it becomes Johnny Depp. And then I'm like, Frank, what, you couldn't cast Johnny Depp? You blew it! So you never know. I mean, could you imagine losing a role because you're too good looking?
I wish.
But yeah, Johnny's goal, he came to LA from Florida, I think originally to be a rock star. And he I don't know if he stumbled into the acting or not, but Johnny's a very interesting guy. He's a very intelligent guy, and he likes people. And he taught me one of the most valuable lessons in this business, because Johnny really respects the fans, and he calls the fans the boss. And many times when we were shooting after a long day's work, and there would be a number of fans gathered waiting for an autograph, who would stay 2-3 hours after, signing every autograph, taking every selfie before we called them selfies? Johnny.
Wow.
And so to know where your bread is buttered. It's one thing to take it out on a movie producer. There's a problem, but you never take it out on the fans. The fans give us they elevate us. They are responsible for our success. And in fact, when you're an actor, it's one of the few art forms, if not the only art form, where if someone's not watching you, you're not actually doing the art.
Right.
So the audience is an intrinsic part of the chemical reaction that is theater, that is film, and. So learning to respect your audience means you respect yourself as an artist when you're an actor. And that's why I do the conventions. That's why I'm very accessible to the fans. I'll sit there and listen and tell stories and share experiences, and my kind of the way I operate, being positive, being grateful, being thankful for the opportunity. And not like the world owes me anything. I've earned everything. But at the same time, like, walking through life with gratitude is so much healthier than walking with that chip on your shoulder going, why don't you know that I'm genius? You know? I think you attract a lot more success through being positive and manifest your opportunities that way. And I recommend anyone that wants to pursue anything in the arts does it with that sense of optimism and positivity that will draw in the energy instead of push it away. Because I think really that's the key. It's learning how to deal with the energy. The Navajo, for example, when they play music, they start real softly because what they are doing is calling. The music is always playing in the universe, and they call upon it. When they start a song, it's always to start soft. Then they build into it. In the same way, if you look at a blanket, a Navajo blanket, they have a line called the spirit line that goes off into infinity on all their patterns. Because that artist is really calling on the spirit of an energy that's already in the universe. And so I kind of will adopt the kind of philosophies that allow me to pursue that, about positivity, about taking it 1 minute at a time, and about appreciating where you are in the moment, even if you're not exactly where you want to be. Learn to love where you're at, because you string one good moment together into the next good moment, into the next good moment, and suddenly that's how you make a good life for yourself.
So that makes me curious.
Okay.
As an actor, a lot of people have people that have inspired them.
Right.
Who were some of your inspirations?
I mean, acting-wise?
Acting, life in general, because that's quite the philosophy you managed to gain.
I mean, I constantly find inspiration, you know? I mean, acting-wise, who would it be? I mean, I was real lucky. I've met a lot of sort of famous people, and sometimes they're inspirational. But I think I'm more inspired by the garbage man, the school teacher, the nurse. Those people, that's who, the soldiers, they inspire me. Because they're the heavy lifters of society, right? For sure the garbage man, because he's better than the movie star. For sure, because actors don't like to pick stuff up. So we would have a dirty world without that dude. And at the end of the day, my job as a storyteller is actually second to that man's job of picking up the garbage. And at the end of the day, that garbage man's tired, he's cranky, he's lifted a bunch of stuff, driven the truck, whatever it is. And I know this is a weird analogy, but that's why we tell stories. To make that dude laugh, to make him cry, to give him an hour's peace in his life so that he can suck it up and go back tomorrow and really carry us. And I really think we need to be, especially when you have experienced any kind of success, you need to be giving it back.
Right.
Because the more you give it away, the more it comes back at you. If you try and hold on to it and you get miserly with that energy and you turn into an egomaniac, eventually they'll call your bluff and the phone just will stop ringing. Right?
You have such a good spirit, a kind spirit, a warm spirit. Would you consider, or have you done roles where you were the heavy?
Yeah.
The evil guy?
I mean, I play funny bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those roles are tough to get. I mean, I think normally when I'm playing a baddie, I'm usually a henchman.
Yeah.
Played a lot of henchmen, because it's a size thing. If you're short and you're kind of stocky, you're going to usually be paired with a big tall guy or a big burly guy, right? Or a tall skinny guy, like in Pirates. But yeah, of course I have. And I play a lot of leading roles in the theater, more likely. But I've realized, a long time ago that, a character actor, they don't always need you. But when they need you badly. So you just have to have that sense of patience and have that faith. And, I do plenty of other things with my life, trying to be a better husband, a better father, and a good citizen. And those are important to me. And at the end of the day, the opportunity to be an actor, I mean, it's a very shallow thing to desire for your life. But if you're going to pursue it, go for it, tough and hard, and want it. But take the work way more seriously than you take yourself. Because otherwise you're going to end up really being bitter or being upset. And, I can't afford to, waste my brain cells on that kind of bitterness. I've done it before. I've been angry, bitter, I'm famous for my anger, in a lot of ways, but it was not productive.
Right.
So I had to get curious about it and deal with it and work on it and try to be better. And it's helping me in every form of being an artist, just to be able to cope with the downtimes. Anyone can handle success, but it's how do you handle the times between? Because that's the lesson. People come to me, oh, my child wants to be an actor. What do you think? I said, tell them, don't do it. It's crazy. Why would you do that? But if you can't talk that person out of it, then welcome to the club.
I'm really glad I had the chance to sit down with you. I'm really glad I got to know a little bit more about you as a person.
Yeah, thanks.
And more of your philosophy. Some of that stuff was pretty fantastic to hear.
Yeah, I think, the characters are great. The characters are fun. But at the end of the day, that's make-believe. That's make-believe. And if we make people feel better and bring that laugh and bring the joy to the garbage man or whatever, great. But for me personally, what happens with all the terrible movies I've been in? I've been in plenty of bad movies. If I were to accept that's the thing, I never get too high about all the great things people say to me, because then I have to take all the bad stuff they say about me too. Coming to a convention like this is always a bit heady, because everyone's walking around telling you how great you are. Right. And really the truth is probably somewhere in between. Like we're all just messed up humans trying to make it through the day. Right. But I appreciate the opportunity to connect with my fans, to introduce myself to people that maybe don't realize, oh wow, you've done that? That was you? That's kind of the character actors. I used to, prior to doing Pirates of the Caribbean, I would be walking in the street, I'd be in a bar, I'd be in an airport, and people would go, hey, I think I know you. I think I know you, And I would go, yeah, I'm an actor. Oh, an actor. What have you been in? Right? And then you list your whole resume, trying to connect with this person. They go, no, that's not it. Right? And after Pirates, went crazy in the world, I knew they'd all seen Pirates. Most people had seen Pirates. Right. I would do the whole spiel. I would have that same conversation, and I would say, well, I was in this movie called Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, really? Who are you? I'd go, hello, Bobby. And then to watch them, to the look on their face, that's been my revenge for 20 years. You know? I'm like, I got you. Yeah, so, I think that the lessons of life are important, and just maybe take everybody else more seriously. I try to put other people before myself. I had plenty of years of being selfish. We're a very selfish lot, us actors, by definition, to pursue the success. And then, so once you get a little bit of it, try and give it all away. Try and give it all away. It would be my recommendation to every successful person to be a bit more generous, with their time, with their charity work, the way they treat the people. I try to treat the people I love like I love them, right? And that's just how I roll. And once I started doing that, and that became the way I operate, good things started happening, So it's not really a surprise, But it is the secret. There was that great book, The Secret, right? Mm-hmm. Well, how do you manifest opportunity? Well, like the secret is if you want a donut, go to a donut shop. Mm-hmm. A lot of people go to the car wash and go, why don't you have my donut? So you have to be specific about your goals. You want to make movies? Make movies. Simple as that. Don't judge it. Don't judge yourself. Do the art.
I think that's the perfect way to end it. That is some good advice. I think that getting to sit with you has been nice to get a perspective other than what we see on television or how we see you, and I'm really grateful. So thank you for sitting here with us.
Did it. Did my job.
Thank you for joining us. This has been Lee Arenberg. I'm Samantha Hedden with producer Andy Watson. And now you know Lee Arenberg. You're fantastic and adorable. Keep you. Can I give you a hug?
There is definitely a plushie.
I hope so.
Or you can do it your way first, and then you can do it my way.
Shut up.